Welcome back to the program. April showers may bring May flowers, but spring also brings with it some shady characters when it comes to business.
And our good friends at the Better Business Bureau always have great guidance for consumers, and Kimberly Hazen from the BBB is here to help. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so talk about this flyer that's been going around people's homes.
Yeah, so we would categorize this as a legal operation, but it's not required. And I think what I don't really care for is that it kind of makes it sound like the emergency vehicles aren't going to be able to find your home. You know, they want to paint your house number on the curb. And so they make it, it's implied that it actually is required by emergency vehicles so they can find your home in the case of an emergency. Well, you're thinking, oh my gosh, when I need help, I really want them to be able to find my home. Well, it's not required. It's certainly, you know, an optional thing. And, you know, I think it was, what, $30 to paint, or $20 to paint one number. And then for $30, they'll paint both sides of your curbs.
And it's probably something you can maybe just do yourself.
You could do it yourself, and then what happens in the winter when it's covered with snow? So you really should have visible house numbers on your house, on your mailbox, things like that. That you can do yourself. So
we were talking in the commercial break. I had somebody knock on the door. We live in the near west side, so near campus. Knock on the door, say they were a student. They were offering to paint the home. This comes with it all sorts of. I mean, you hear about these door-to-door complaints all the time. What are some tips that you give consumers they should ask about?
Yeah. So first of all, you need a permit to go door-to-door, and you know. The idea is, you know, we have, you know, in our organizations, in our businesses, we have a no solicitation policy. Nobody can come into our business and sell magazines or, you know, I've had somebody come to my door to sell meat. Meat. Like, I'm good. I'm good with the meat. Don't go next door, they're vegetarian. You know, but you know, we've heard of door-to-door furniture, like, oh, I've got a truck full of furniture, you know, that I'm selling. And, you know, it's just, we need to have, you know, I do these talks to seniors all the time about scams. A lot of them come via the door. And have a refusal script. You know, be able to say, hey, you know what, I'm sure you guys are great. I make it a policy to not give money through the door, and I don't sell at the door. You know, I don't buy anything at my door. So
you also talk about never paying in full.
Never pay in full. Absolutely
and paying with credit as well, right?
Yeah. If you absolutely feel the need that you have to pay, you know, unless it's your little next door neighbor girl that's selling you cookies, I would say, you know, give them a credit card, because that's something that's traceable, and actually you can dispute that. You also never ever want to pay for something fully up front, because they may not come back to do the job, you know, things like that. You just want to be really careful.
Okay, now I've noticed a lot of people in my neighborhood, lots of houses going up for sale, sold, lots of moving. But
yes,
and there are a heck of a lot more moving companies available now.
Yes, and there's a lot of moving middlemen. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with the company or the middleman. I mean, it's fine to deal with the middleman that brokers the best deal for you, but you just need to be able to have that transparency and know who you're dealing with. We always suggest checking out the company at the BBB's website. It's completely free, and you can find out what kind of complaints they've had. You know, also knowing what your rights are as somebody who's being moved. You know, if something gets damaged, what does that contract say? You know, they do offer extra coverage, so you might want to consider ponying up for that extra insurance. That would be the full value of your items, rather than just what they believe is the depreciated value of your...
Probably also a difference between, like, if you pack your stuff versus if they pack your stuff.
Absolutely, there is a big difference there. So, you know, in this business, we know that consumers do not like reading fine print. We just don't like it. It's boring, it's small, and it's all the details. And
that's what the reading glasses are for.
That's what the reading glasses are for. Yep. So making sure that everything you're promised verbally is in that contract, and everything you're sort of anticipating and expecting is in that contract.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, Kimberly Hazen with Wisconsin BBB. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.